Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mid, the fun word guessing game is back and you can come aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
How your lawn looks says a lot about you. So put your lawn care maintenance into the hands of someone who really cares. They're reasonable, experienced, reliable, licensed, and insured. They are Top-Notch Lawn Care of Toledo, Ohio. Commercial and residential services are available all year long. Call or text them today for a free estimate. Top-Notch Lawn Care of Toledo, Ohio. 419-708-0005. Top-Notch Lawn Care of Toledo, Ohio. Hey, it is Smooth Tim and Larry E. And thank you guys for dropping in on us on another hump day on Tim's Tidbits. How you doing, Larry?
Hello, man. I'm pretty good. You all right yourself?
I'm doing all right. Weather's changing up here. But other than that, yeah, I guess.
It's hot in Texas.
Yeah, y'all are spawning some tornadoes and stuff too, ain't you?
Man, Dorothy and Wonderland. I feel like the black male version of Dorothy. It's coming.
But you still working outside, got to be in that weather. So, hey, man. Hey, anyhow, see what we're going to talk about tonight on the Tidbits Show. Putin's problems, which are always crazy. A little bit of cancel culture. Some border issues. Congressional maps in question, and then at the end of the show, of course, we will cover our asshole of the week. So, you know, we're always looking out for our viewers and our listeners. So, hey, we got you covered. Anyhow, let's talk a little bit about Putin. And, you know, obviously, you pay attention to the news, you know, Ukraine is making a little bit of headway. And, you know, pushing Russia back out of some of the territories that they annexed, I guess, if that's what they're going to call it.
They stole.
Pretty much. And, you know, apparently there was a bombing on one of the bridges that connect Russia to one of the preoccupied areas. I'm trying to think what the name of. Let's watch this and check this out, and then we'll come back and talk to it.
Okay.
Russia's promised revenge coming this morning with those rocket attacks on major Ukrainian cities, striking back after another setback. In the past hour, the Russian leader on television calling the attacks retaliation. Last night, President Putin branding this explosion on his prized bridge between Russia and Crimea a terrorist attack on civilian infrastructure. The bridge, a crucial military supply line and symbol of Russian strength, quickly reopened, but the destruction in plain sight. While Ukraine has not publicly admitted responsibility, Russia is blaming Ukrainian special forces for the explosion that happened almost exactly midway across the bridge, just after 6 a.m. Saturday. The Russians say this truck carrying fertilizer was the epicenter of the blast. On a parallel rail bridge, a locomotive filled with fuel tanks also caught fire, while some explosives experts think the detonation was under the bridge. Last month, Russian media reported an unmanned Ukrainian drone boat capable of attacks from the sea washed up on a Crimean beach. Russian bloggers, loyal to President Putin, now openly criticizing his military. The enemy has stopped being afraid, one said this weekend. Another, hammer Ukraine into the 18th century.
That's
Okay. So who blew up the bridge? Was it Ukraine or was it
Ukraine.
Russia?
Yeah, is obviously the ones responsible for blowing up that bridge. As I like I said, that there in Crimea was where they had came in. Russian forces that came in prior and taken. So they're just taking some of their territory back. Apparently, Putin didn't
Well, no,
like it.
you know what? That's a move that happened in the Civil War. I don't know if it happened on. I think it happened on the side of the North. They blew up the major supply line that prevented them from getting supplies and soldiers over to continue the war. You remember that? Am I
Yeah, the
wrong about that? Am I
railroads.
right?
Yeah, the railroads
Yeah,
at that time were major supply lines, and they had
yeah,
then.
and they destroyed that, and they pretty much brought the war, made it more of the North side. So it makes sense. But hold on, then they said he said it's retaliation. How's it gonna be retaliation? Is he said retaliation that he's
Yeah, did you catch
retaliating
it? It's
against Ukraine?
retaliation because that is a civilian infrastructure.
Like he
See,
ain't
there
bombing
goes the word you're going to
civilians.
call it. It's, I mean, what the hell do you think he's bombing?
Yeah, like he's bombing just all soldiers over there in Ukraine. Man, Putin need his ass whooped.
But yeah, that's the thing. And then I think in the language that I kind of find funny, and I was going to, that I hear both sides using, Larry, is I hear Zelensky using it, and I hear Putin using it, and it's this terrorist. I mean, what is, what are you trying to, what
Yeah,
does that elevate it to, and what does that allow you to do once everybody decides, okay, well, this is some type of terrorist. Now, what can you elevate it to next so that, you can.
saw that and heard that. But how you gonna be? Is it be a terrorist attack when there's a war going on? It's not a terrorist attack's happening
I
in
think they look at it like that, I guess, if it's, you
the
start
civilians.
civilians, when
Yeah,
you
but
have major
well, I
civilian
guess what he's
casualties.
doing is terrorism too, because he's attacking civilians in the city. They don't have anything to do with the war. They're trying to go to work and eat donuts or drink coffee, whatever they're doing, whatever their thing is in Ukraine. But he's throwing bombs down there, so that's terrorism. I mean, come on, man.
And there's got to be some kickback. There's obviously going to be some kickback. I mean, do you think the people of Ukraine or the rest of the world who sympathize with what's going on, you're just going to, idly stand by and say, yeah, that's cool, no problem, oh man.
Man, it's pathetic. I'm like, if you're gonna go to war, go to war. Stop trying to make people feel sorry for you, and that's what I would do if I was going to war, Tim. I figure now all these people are smart. I will figure out a statistician or whatever, say a general, someone that's big on war, a warlord or someone. How can we beat them? What worked in the past? What's going to work now? How can we get the advantage over this other country? How can we win? And that's what you do: destroy weapons from getting in. Maybe whatever it takes. You at war.
Yeah, you go to
Like,
you work on their logistics is where you're going to.
exactly.
Work on
Yeah,
their
I'm like,
logistics and interrupt their supply. And well, geez, guess what happened? Speaking of that, Larry, interrupt their supplies. Now, what happens next here is, check this out.
Polish authorities are investigating a leak in an underground pipeline supplying oil from Russia to Western Europe. The operating company, PERN, says it detected a leak in the Druzhba pipeline Tuesday evening, some 70 kilometres from the Polish city of Plock. It says the cause of the rupture wasn't yet known. The pipeline is the main route through which Russian crude is delivered to Germany. The news broke as EU ministers in the Czech Republic were discussing energy challenges arising from the war in Ukraine.
We are analysing this situation right now. I can confirm there is indeed a leak a few dozen kilometres from Plock. All the services are on the spot, including firemen and security services, and we're analysing the causes right now.
Last year, Russia accounted for around 35% of Germany's crude oil supply. But it and other EU countries have been finding other sources in line with sanctions against Moscow over Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
And I believe we talked last week about the other supply line that was the one that was underground that they think may be terrorists. They blew it up. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So, hey.
Hey, I'm like, you at war. It is what it is.
So, I mean, what does he expect is going to happen?
Hey, as us black folks were saying in the hood, if you don't start none, it won't be none.
And then, you know, and you see the different attacks. I mean, and it's all over the place. So, you know, apparently I should back that one up. There are people unhappy, and they are attacking the various supply lines that Russia has to get their products out so that they can make a profit to continue to fund their war, right? So, you know, it's interesting that, you know, he's doing the same thing, you know, when he's making the, you know, that devastation to, you know, the infrastructure of Ukraine. And look what he's doing. So, I mean, you know, and we need to find alternatives. And I believe, you know, hey, who knows who did what? It could have been Russia doing this shit, just to sit there and say, look, see, now they're attacking us, now world war. Who knows what goes on in the mind of men? Yeah,
conspiracy theory, but still, right? They started it.
Right?
He started it. So at the end of
I was thinking about who knows what goes on in the mind of men? Oh, no, the shadow knows. That's an old radio program, way before your grandparents would know it. But in any regard, yeah. Putin.
I don't feel sorry for him. You know, I hope Putin gets his ass kicked in this war. And then after that, they need to do something with this guy because he sucks.
I'm wondering, you know, how long it's going to be before, you know, I don't know how they have an impeachment process, if they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it just doesn't seem like the country's all that super happy. I mean, it didn't look like the people that were running away from the draft was all that happy. And it doesn't seem that, you know, how do you even train these people? You're just sending guys with guns to the front and saying, you know, here you go, fight some seasoned veteran soldiers. These Ukrainians are not punks. They've been doing this for a long time.
No, you don't mess around with Ukrainians and tough ones. You got everybody got some guys in the crowd.
Yeah, they're well seasoned soldiers. So, you know, they're like these high school dropouts or, you know, are not going to have a chance.
No, and Ukrainian dropouts, those some tough dudes. They dropped out of first grade, and they've been fighting since the first grade.
Oh, man. Hey, anyhow, let's move on. I don't know if, you know, let's call it cancel culture. And it seems like, you know, there's always a reason that, you know, we shouldn't have a book in the library or we shouldn't have a discussion in school or it's just an endless road of, you know, cancel this and cancel that because somebody's overly sensitive, right?
Right.
Check this out.
This morning, parents speaking out as school districts across the country opt to cancel Halloween celebrations.
I feel like it's just crossing the line and it's just, where does it end? So next people are going to be offended by pumpkins. So we're going to take away pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns or pumpkin carving.
Lower Merion School District in Pennsylvania ending the Halloween tradition after more than 50 years, in part because of safety concerns. Officials pointing to the recent shooting death of a 14-year-old outside a nearby football game as one concern. A similar scene in Ohio this past Friday, 3 people injured in a shooting outside a high school game.
There's danger in every possible venue in every way. So what, are you going to cancel everything? I don't know.
But the district says inclusivity is also a reason for canceling Halloween festivities. In the past, students who did not celebrate Halloween had to sit in the library.
That felt a little exclusionary. It didn't really feel like it was generating that sense of belonging that we hope to have in our schools.
In the Seattle area, Halloween has also been canceled at Brookside Elementary. That's according to radio station KTTH, which reports the principal said many see Halloween as a fun, candy-filled holiday, adding this is not the case for all. Halloween celebrations are exclusionary for students who come from certain cultural or religious backgrounds. And outside Lansing, Michigan, Holt Public Schools is saying no to all holiday celebrations, banning Halloween costumes on campus, calling them a distraction.
It's one day. They have lots of different celebrative days, you know, dress up days, school spirit days, and what's wrong with the Halloween day?
It seems like kids will have to save that new costume for whatever their family decides at home, but some parents say even the tradition of trick-or-treating is extra concerning this year, with warnings about rainbow fentanyl made to look like candy that could be deadly.
Damn.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing no more.
You know, and they came at it, and I caught two separate issues here that they were trying to defend for canceling.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is it may offend you if I dress a certain way and or celebrate this particular holiday. And then the second concern that seemed to be thrown out there was a safety concern.
Right. Well, then they said that plus some people don't celebrate it because it's part of their religious background or whatever too. So I'm like this.
Yeah, they look at it as a pagan holiday. I mean, I believe it is traditionally a pagan holiday. I may be I'm wrong, but I believe it is a pagan holiday.
I'm a Grinch about it too, though. To be honest, I believe the school is for school. Okay, you can do like the school spirit, the pep rallies, football games. I can understand that. And I'm like, if you're going to take the Bible and take the Bible out of school and all that stuff, why not take everything else out? You already stripped it of religion. I'm like, that's the biggest thing you need. You took that out, so you might as well take out Christmas, Halloween, take everything out, just let these kids go to school and enjoy those holidays at home. I'm like, it is what it is. And it is somewhat of a distraction because it's already a distraction as it is with these kids going through what they're going through. It's a lot different from when we went to school. And then you got Halloween and
that's an interesting perspective, Larry.
Yeah, I really think books in holidays like that out. I'm like, Halloween is not a real holiday anyway.
Correct.
It's not a real holiday. It's a money pit.
Right.
Money pit holiday. They say people spend billions of dollars a year on Halloween costumes that you don't wear number one time.
And you remember walking around the school in your Halloween? Boom, boom, boom.
No, I was poor. We just had the masks. I had regular clothes on with a mask. Who are you? I'm half Batman and other poor Larry. We didn't have a whole outfit.
I had to put on sunglasses and slick my hair back. Who are you, Elvis?
Yeah, I tried to be a ghost one time, but I she's had decorations on them. I say, I ain't gonna be no fruity ghost. I ain't gonna do this.
He asked to borrow the teacher sheet so you
yeah,
could be a ghost.
Like,
wait.
Yes, I'm like, I don't want nobody get mixed signals. I'm like, oh, you a straight ghost or you a gay ghost? I'm a straight ghost, bro. That's all she's I had. I'm poor.
That was wrong. You didn't hear what I said.
What'd you say? Say it again.
Said you asked to borrow the teacher sheet so you could be a ghost.
Whose sheets?
The teachers.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
but anyhow, I mean, I understand some of the safety concerns. The one, actually, you see that about the high school football game?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was here. Pow, 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 in Toledo.
Saw that, man.
And what happened, well, and you know what's interesting, between the two schools and what they did is they only actually allowed students from the school in. And somehow this particular person that was targeted was not even associated with the game and shouldn't have been there in the first place. They may have, who knows, could have been a cousin, but no direct affiliation to the game, brother, sister, mom, dad kind of stuff.
Man,
the people that did the pow, 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 they were wearing masks and hoodies, so they have no idea.
These kids, these people, these young men, older men, or what kind of man, I know there's always a guy involved, it's idiotic guys. What happened to boxing, fighting, getting your ass whooped? You won, you lost, you lost. Bunch of punks, man.
I remember. Yeah, I remember somebody brought a knife to a fist fight. You were looked like a punk. I mean, what you bringing a knife to a fist fight for?
Yeah, when I was a kid one time, one of my classmates brought a gun to school and was finna shoot another student. And I remember that like it was yesterday. It was crazy. And I was like in the 9th grade. And that was a long time ago. So this gun to school stuff ain't nothing new to me.
What if you can't handle that? Well, go ahead and get your ass kicked, get it over with, if it,
Oh, he wasn't gonna win that fight. The dude he was fighting had hands.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So just take your ass whipping and just move on.
I see why he was gonna shoot him because
he was gonna get his ass whipped.
Oh, he was big guy that he was fighting he could whip everybody in the school.
Oh, so you were even like giving him some respect.
Well, because they were actually a friend of mine, someone I knew, and he beat a dude up so bad, the dude was calling timeout while they were fighting. It was a time, hold on, timeout.
Get my trainer in the corner.
He was beating the dude up so bad, the dude was saying timeout. So we had to shoot him. But he didn't shoot him, though, so he got stopped. And the guy got expelled, never saw him again in school.
That's messed up. Wow. Anyhow, so hey, it is what it is, I can understand, where some people are coming from, and I kind of thought your perspective, you had an interesting viewpoint on it is, just alleviate it all, and then you're not going to offend anybody,
Yeah,
who's going to be offended?
Tim, we have officially, how many national holidays official is at 5? Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I think those are major 5. Am I right?
Oh, I think, they'll probably do the what's next. Yeah, you're correct. But they're going to say, what's next? We're not going to celebrate the 4th of July, our independence, our President's Day. We're not going to celebrate our people who, founded our country. We're not saying that. Yeah. No, because that's part of the education of who you are because you're in this country. But like you say, some of this stuff, does it really have a place?
Too many safeguards. It's a lot of safeguards up because crazy people are infecting the school system in a negative manner, whether it's shootings or whether it's people trying to take out books or whether you want to do this, do that, to be straight, to be gay, or no religion. Just go to school and learn. I'm like, at the end of the day, you're at school to learn.
Speaking of that, school shootings, that, with the Sandy Hook, and then that radio, that shock jock, whatever his freaking name is, who I'm talking about, that said it was all a big act and stuff. They came back on him today with a finding of like $400 million. Damn. Oh, yeah, it's like, oh, man, they just, some Connecticut court is like, how does this get made? You're done, you're toast. And they said they've already detected them moving around like $65 million, and, here, there, and everywhere to try to hide some money.
You better start rapping like every other person that needs some quick money. You better put an album out.
Oh, Alex Jones, right? Yeah, Alex Jones, yeah.
Yeah, he needs to keep his mouth closed.
Oh, yeah, I think he maybe learned his lesson now, Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? It's different when you get your ass whooped. I'd rather get hit in my mouth than get hit in my pocket.
Oh.
Trust me.
Oh.
You can whoop my ass all day. Just don't whoop my bank account.
Hey, let's move on to border issues. It's kind of interesting. There is reason to talk about it. I do find it kind of interesting that, you do have certain individuals that like to talk about it, probably over talk about it, and the individuals that just kind of like to avoid it rather. But it's
no, I don't mean talking about it. I mean, they still messing with the border again. This is I'm like, this has lasted longer than racism down there.
Well, it's gotta be, but check out this video. I mean, it's not just necessarily the U.S. border.
Oh, it's more borders.
Sure.
28-year-old Franceschi Flames is more than 7,000 kilometers from home. With 10-month-old Maia in tow, she sells sweets for coins so that she can feed her baby and hopefully gather enough to rent a room tonight. That way they won't have to sleep outdoors in the freezing cold. She arrived from Venezuela 2 weeks ago after crossing the Atacama Desert and entered Chile as an undocumented migrant, like hundreds of thousands of her compatriots.
A Bolivian guy helped us cross the border at night. We had to crawl so no one would see us. We passed fences and trenches, and we couldn't make noise. The children couldn't cry so the police wouldn't hear us.
Franceschi is among hundreds of thousands who've traveled to Chile seeking a better life, while tens of thousands of Central American, Haitian, and Cuban migrants attempt to cross into the United States every day. But the migration crisis in the Americas no longer flows exclusively from south to north. According to United Nations, nearly 6 million Venezuelans have migrated to escape hardships at home, with the majority heading south, especially to Colombia, Peru, Argentina, and Chile. It's hoped that regional cooperation to tackle the phenomena will be the main theme at the upcoming Summit of the Americas in Los Angeles, even with the priorities of the United States now focused elsewhere. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
Damn, I'm complaining about it being hot.
You know? And then, I mean, they're trying to look what's going on, and these people are trying to, escape what's going on in Colombia. You know, they've got nothing, complete poverty, and, they've got, a dictatorship, that's run by cartels. So, hey.
You think God put us on this earth for us to act like that towards each other? That's just plain sad and pathetic that people would do other people like that.
And some of them probably realize, I thought about that. Why did they go down to, Chile and stuff like that? Maybe because, obviously there's not going to be a language barrier, and they may be somewhat accepted more than obviously the crisis that's happening up on the Texas-Arizona border. But it's everywhere. I mean, it's, people are always fleeing injustice and suppression. Why did people start coming to the United States in the first place in the 1600s?
Yeah, Texas does a great job of masking it, or they have somewhat of a legal system to alleviate some of the evil that goes on with the justice system. But it's still better than what's going on over there, I guess. I haven't been there, so I can imagine if you're just gonna get on the inner tube and try to cross some water with your 1-year-old kid or 8-month-old kid, it's really got to be bad.
Oh, and they're going through deserts, trying to get down and, talking about trying to avoid soldiers so they don't get shot and killed.
Think about the ones that shot, killed, sexually assaulted. Think about, what do you call that, trafficking and stuff
human
like
trafficking?
That.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's probably the biggest fear for the females, and especially if you're a teenage girl. You're done.
Man,
what do they call them?
crazy.
Coyotes or whatever? That's the
Coyotes
lingo
the
they
ones
like to throw on them.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you would think that 2022, this world would be better. It's just like, it's just bad.
But you wonder what's going on the other side of it. What do you think is going on over in Mexico? Check this out. I was curious, so I had to find out.
Among the crowds of migrants making their way to the U.S., children. Some not old enough to walk, but have already traveled hundreds of miles. Little boys and girls, many of whom were born along the long journey north, like little 3-year-old Valentina, who's traveling with her Venezuelan parents, but was born in Colombia.
Por tener una niña pequeña, México nos da como la oportunidad de tener los permisos más fáciles.
This family soon adding to what has become a record-breaking year of border crossings. In this fiscal year alone, Customs and Border Patrol have encountered more than 2 million migrants, breaking the record previously set last year. Most of those encounters, single men and family units. And while pandemic-era policies like Title 42 are still limiting migrants' ability to claim asylum, it hasn't deterred families from continuing their journey north.
No conoció lo terrible que es vivir en tu país de origen, que es Venezuela, con la dictadura que tenemos.
Now, shelters like this in the southern state of Oaxaca say every day about 1,000 migrants arrive, entire families, often with little ones in hand.
Nosotros duramos 7 años en Ecuador y nació el niño. Y de ahí nos vinimos para acá.
Waiting for government permits that will allow them to continue their way across Mexico in hopes.
Isn't that amazing? Just it grows coming out of Colombia, going in through Mexico. They got to get these permits. They were talking about if they go outside those encampments, you can get your ass kicked, killed, or, the girls are going to be gone.
Oh, man.
So it's like, and, what do you do to, help
I'm like,
alleviate that inhumanity that's causing these people to even bust out of their country.
Well, all these rich people need to start spending some of that money, which they're not.
Oh, instead of trying to get to space, the race to the moon, maybe improve our planet.
I'm like, it's a bunch of them. I'm like, these rappers, these singers, producers, actors. I'm like, they don't need all that money. I'm like, help out. I'm like, I wish I could, but I don't have money to help anyone. I'm taking care of my family, trying to move forward. But if you got it, man, share it. When you got an X amount of it, it's like that. Help out. That's the whole purpose of us being here. Human race, a human race. I guess they call it the human race because it's a race amongst
It's a race to try to survive.
Yeah. If I was a billionaire rich, I'll be breaking some bread somehow. I'll be finding some ways to help these people.
I think you do what you do and you do your part. And, this is, when we're putting out this show, we're not here to influence, we're here to inform you. Here's what's going on, and it's not necessarily just as you see on the news or, hey, here's both sides of the freaking issue. You decide.
Yeah, so stop complaining. You seeing what we have on these shows and what we have and what these people are going through. I was complaining about it being hot.
Yeah, and I was complaining about it being chilly rain and that the leaves are starting to change. So,
I'm like, look what they're going through.
Look what they're going through. Indeed. Hey, man, speaking of people starting to care, and let's go to people that, they care because they're too damn busy trying to hang on to power. That would be your people who are our politicians and running our country. And it seems like they're always having issues with congressional maps. You know what I'm talking about, referring to here, where your voting districts and this and that. Check this out a second. Check it. Sure it is.
For a lot of reasons, today is an extra Wheaties and extra cup of coffee day. This show's a little bit of work, I have to admit, but it's important work. Before the break, I told you at length about the independent state legislature theory, which is at the center of the Moore v. Harper Supreme Court case. At stake is the question of who runs U.S. elections and who sets election law. The plaintiffs in the Moore v. Harper case are using the independent state legislature theory to push a heavily gerrymandered congressional map in North Carolina, which gives an extreme advantage to Republicans. This is from the North Carolina Superior Court that first heard the case. Quote, the court finds that in every single one of the 52 elections decided within a 6-point margin, the enacted plans give Republicans an outright majority in the state's congressional delegation, the state House and the state Senate. This is true even when Democrats win statewide by clear margins, end quote. Now, in February, after some back and forth, the North Carolina Supreme Court struck down that map and ruled it unconstitutional, which is kind of the way it should work. But the plaintiffs took it higher to the United States Supreme Court, and that clearly unfair map that the North Carolina Supreme Court called egregious and extreme is now at the center of Moore v. Harper. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of the plaintiffs in Moore v. Harper, it will affect more than just one congressional map in North Carolina. It could give state legislatures full, absolute power over elections without court oversight.
Here we go.
Here we go. I mean, that's just insane I hope and he mentioned gerrymandering, and that's where you're changing districts so that you can manipulate votes. And I want to show a quick video on that so that people, I think I got that. Yeah, I absolutely do. Check this video out real quick, then come back and we'll talk about why that is so vital that this doesn't happen. That was classic. Did you see the shape of some of those voting districts? It's like, that's odd, but as long as it keeps you elected.
Yeah, it's a scam, man. What happens to just vote? See, that's what happens. When they politics are crooked. That's how it is. It's always a setup, and they want one side to win so they can maintain power and get the solves. But at the end of the day,
you should wash your mouth out with soap. What did you say? Politicians are crooked.
Why don't they just let them register and vote? That's all you have to do. Register and vote. Best man, best woman wins. That's it. But then now we see how crooked our government is and how dirty they will play just to get the advantage over a Democrat or a Republican at the end of the day. It's all the same. You know what I'm saying?
And I believe in, the popular vote, and it would have changed a whole lot of elections.
Well, if you go 50% popular, do it by percentage. We have these smart people in the country or outside the country. We got, as a combined group in the United States, they can figure it out. Combine all the votes by percentages or whatever, just equal percentage, whatever. They
already know what it is. It's when they apply each state's, popular vote into electoral votes is when it can change shit. Because then you have some states that have a very small voice in the electoral voice, and they're kind of like nullifies. But they could have a lot of people voting for a candidate who lost but won the popular. It's weird,
Okay, why don't they just vote? Why it's got to be
electoral college? I don't know. They should get away. I don't know why they even came up with that thing. Same reason they came up with daylight savings time.
They try to figure out a way so they can still have it wouldn't be like a landslide all the time, because you don't want the popular person winning. When they like Trump, we had no idea what he was doing, and then you don't want someone that is just a dirty politician to get in the office. So he tried to figure out a way to make it even the playing grounds. At the end of the day, it's all about what are the issues that face our country, who's going to do a better job of tackling those issues, and that's it. What are the issues? Who's going to tackle them? How's it going to move us forward as a human race? Period. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Gerrymandering and mudsliding and this district, that district, and
I find it so interesting, and what some of them are willing to go to, what levels some of them are going to,
Think about it.
They'll humiliate themselves. They just don't care.
Yeah. What if you just really want to vote and want your vote to count, but you got to go through all that crap just to vote? You'd be like, it's different when you have your local, well, even locally, it's still kind of jacked up. We still can't really trust the voting process now because there's been so many accusations of voter fraud and politicians doing this and closing doors and cutting it off early. And now you have to put, I think here in Texas, when you vote, you got to put your ID number on the bottom of a flap of when you vote or something like that. Now they add something else to it.
To complicate it, otherwise it nullifies it.
Watch. Next thing they don't say you got to have a credit score at least 500 to vote next. It's coming.
You know what? And you're right. And sometimes I wonder, and I have a little clip I want to show, and it talks, and it leads right into our conversation of how these people can support some of the people they're supporting, i.e. Herschel, that I didn't make her have an abortion. That's not my kid. I see him all the time. Walker. Right?
Had to bring that dude up. Ooh, I'm tired of Herschel.
But he's in a dead heat. Larry,
a dead heat?
This basically is a dead heat race. Yes, for senator. And even after this came out, I don't know, you've got to check this out. And this is the latest.
Do you think you know Herschel Walker? Well, think again. Listen to what his ex-wife had to say about him.
His eyes would become very evil. The guns and knives. I got into a few choking things with him. The first time he held the gun to my head, he held the gun to my temple and said he was going to blow my brains out.
Okay, I got a lot of problems with that. For one thing, she said the first time he held a gun to her head.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah, you know.
I don't believe it. How could it be a second time? The guns and the knives. He held a gun to your head the first time, and then he had knives too, and you stayed with him. Shut up.
Yeah, you got some issues yourself, yeah?
Yeah, the choking, they could have just been doing some freaky stuff during sex or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Somehow the guns came into the play?
Yeah, I'm saying. But you said the first time he held a gun to my head and you stayed there. Your credibility is shot with me, sister.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting the first time. And he's got,
and I'm like,
and think about it, he's had this, that, and who knows, how credible her information, as you say, really is.
Yeah, we know he's not credible for a senator.
But, you got this other woman, ex-wife or girlfriend, whatever she was, coming at him that, you told me to get an abortion and, wanted me to have an abortion and all this other BS. And then
but she's not credible.
People still love him.
What is true? Why she just not saying something now?
I don't know.
And you know what the crazy part is? They always.
Well,
I
don't know.
I'm saying like this is real, and this is a white man's world, country. That's just how it is, and I ain't got a problem with it. I'm working my way through it. But they always got to sell our brother. They got to have a brother. They got to have a brother somehow.
But anyhow, the person he's running against is black.
Two of them?
Yeah. So it's not. It's a dead heat between the two of them for this Senate seat.
Win this.
I'm
shocked now.
I think it is a popularity vote, and I don't know how people can just.
Hey,
maybe he forgot. The concussions and stuff. I don't know what to tell you about it all.
They got to get some speckles. They got to get a little pep in there. A little pep. I'm just saying. We know how this country is, how it's ran. We know who the big dogs are. The billionaires, the millionaires. Who they are. We got to sprinkle one or two brothers just to say we're not racist.
As long as you can easily manipulate them.
Yeah, Herschel an idiot. I don't even know him personally. He was a decent football player, but from me being the man I am now with a little knowledge, and from hearing him speak and seeing that he's trying to even build Senator to be part of that messed up organization, which we got to have government officials. But I would think that he would be on the positive side or something else. But he just run along with him. You know what I'm saying? He just run along with. And listen, and then the good white guys, Tim, they don't never let them do anything.
They keep them under wraps.
They never let the good white guys do it. They give us the bad ones. The bad ones doing all the dirt. Then they get the jacked up dumb brothers in there, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, they vote to one the big mouths, the one guy that told on them for what they had the little sex parties and shit. They voted his ass out quick.
Was it a white dude?
Yeah,
white dude told another white
remember
dude?
that?
Was it?
He's ratting on the old Republican guy. They have these parties. Come on down. Can have a good time.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with this. Ain't nothing wrong with the sex party, man. When you
hang with us.
I would have voted for him. I'm like, okay, man, let's do this shit, baby. I'm like,
I just can't think, jumping into the hot tub with some guy whose nuts drag along the ground. Just.
As long as you don't put them on me. I'm like, man, move your bowels, bro.
But it ain't all bad. It ain't all bad. I mean, did you know? Don't be sharing towels. Don't snap me in the ass with the towel. Don't be sharing towels.
Tim, you sitting in the hot tub, he's standing over you and his balls on your shoulder, like, hold on, bro, get your balls off my shoulder, man. I voted for you, not your balls. Get your balls off my shoulder.
Your nuts off my shoulder.
All right, we getting goofy now.
But I wanted to share. This is important. Yeah, don't get goofy. This is important. This is seriously relevant information for our viewing audience, listening audience. Biden's approval rating today came out at 42%. So he is actually gaining some ground since he lost. I think he was down to
what was it before?
He was like in the negatives.
Hold on.
He wasn't in the negatives.
Hold on, Tim.
What?
I said it was a white man world, but how you gonna have a white man in the negatives?
But anyhow, it was nice. Remember Lindsey, our buddy Lindsey Graham? That old white guy too. Yeah, he's the old white guy that wanted to have, abortion banned worldwide.
Oh, he a dick.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
him.
don't like.
Yeah, anyhow, he did a public service announcement celebrating this Biden announcement.
He like Biden. I like Biden.
Well, all right, check it out.
I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. What is Donald Trump's campaign about? He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell. If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation. Because what's not to like? He is as good a man as God ever created. He said some of the most incredibly heartfelt things that anybody could ever say to me. He's the nicest person I think I've ever met in politics.
Hey, I like him, man. I like Biden. You know.
Thanks, Lindsay. I thought he was gonna cry and shit. You know,
Hey,
he
it
got
was
all
funny.
emotional.
He said race baiting. He didn't call him a racist because I really don't think Donald Trump is racist, but he said a race baiting.
Mm.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I like Trump. I like Trump before he started being a president, and once he became president, I stopped liking him because he didn't belong there.
And he has issues. I mean, and you know he could deal with those issues.
Made us look real bad.
You know?
Even though I'm not a, when one guy said Americans and black people, even though I'm not American but a black guy, he still made me as a black guy look.
Yeah,
bad.
that was him. You remember that? That's right. He did
was
say.
The guy that said that? No, it wasn't him that said that.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. That was him.
That was him that said that?
Yeah, that was him that said that. He's from the South. Come on, man. I think he's South Carolina, something like that. So,
well, he did put a picture up there with Trump hugging a black dude. So
come on.
It's better than at least got one of us. I told you I had to put some salt, some little pepper in there, sprinkle one or two brothers in there.
Like I said, we've said before, racism is alive and well, and it doesn't necessarily based on the color of your skin.
Oh man, right? People can get mad and say it all they want, man. At the end of the day, poor people are connected more with poor people. Rich people are connected with rich people.
Mm-hmm. You know that's kind of interesting. And if you think about that, you know, let's when you start talking about, you know, people migrating and you know, around and about within the United States, and you start having this congressional redistricting, and pretty soon you're manipulating, you know, not only your cities but you know your entire state. You know, its outlook, its logic. I am, you know, pro-life. I am, you know, anti-abortion. I am, you know, for marijuana reform. I'm completely against marijuana. So you have these states that are starting to almost, you know, magnetize a like-thinking individuals. You're going to see, I think, people migrating around to where there's more like-minded individuals. Does that make sense?
Well, that's what we need. We need to. We got, for one thing, we gotta eliminate the race thing, because it's all one. We already together. You gotta let that go, because everybody got something to bring to the table. You know, it ain't just all white people got something to bring to the table, all black people. Now we mixing in people from Puerto Rico. Well, the immigrants are coming in from Mexico, everywhere. So all of us have something.
Yeah, through Mexico. Yeah, they're coming in through Mexico.
Yeah,
let's not associate them with complete Mexico coming into the United States. No, that's not it. They're coming in through Mexico.
We have to think as a human race of how we're going to move us forward with technology, with dealing with inflation, with growing families, with water, with the environment. I'm like, we got to start thinking about real issues. Okay, period. Because at the end of the day, they're coming. We're all here. Get used to me. You got to get used to you.
You know? And it's not like you can't use the people, the labor. How could you not use the labor? You have a labor issue now, Larry. That's what I don't quite understand.
You can create more jobs. Give them. I ain't gonna lie, this can sound kind of jacked up, but they will work those jobs. Jobs that a lot of people don't want to work. They will come here and work those jobs for less pay, and they can just get everything. I'm just give them opportunity.
Right, but they start getting all paranoid. Well, there's the great replacement theory. Well, that's what I did when I was in high school. Worked at, you know, that kind of a particular job. Now I'm being replaced with these immigrants. Now what's that? You know what I'm?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but they need people to take their ass to work. Okay, They need to take their ass to work. Don't put them on welfare. We already got enough people on welfare. They need the people that want to come in and work, let them work, and people on welfare that's been there for years, that's doing the wrong things on welfare, start holding them accountable and say it's time for you to start working too, at least do something.
That has to be a condition of citizenship, and I don't know how that actually is. Be interesting to look at that. Do they require that individual seeking to be a citizen, part of the asylum process, becoming a citizen? What are your requirements to your contribution to the United States, as far as jobs and this and that?
Yeah, you know what? With all those immigrants, or because they are immigrants, let's be honest about that. Because the only people that came to this country that ruled, the African slaves, they weren't immigrants; they were brought here. But other than that, everybody else that came on their own are immigrants, and some of them could be geniuses. Some of those people that are coming over here could have some great ideas, great contributions, and work hard. They love their families. They're bringing their families with them. So it is nothing more dangerous than a man with his family. Am I right? A man with his family is a dangerous man because that man will work hard, he will think hard, and he will push hard. So you got this hard man with his family, he's going to bust his ass for you and make it happen. So those the people you need, men with families to bring their families. You got these young guys too, or women too, ain't nothing wrong with that. But you need some strong, hardworking men and women with families. Those men and women with families, those are the ones you need because they're going to make your business pop.
Well, that's keeping it 100 because, on the, our country was built on the back of, German and Irish immigrants.
The first ones, I told people that. I said, man, the first immigrants that came here were the poor Germans and Irish.
Yeah.
Those are the first ones.
And then they started the slave trade until, Yeah,
the first slaves were German and Irish. The biggest the migration has been Germans. No more. If you go back in history, no immigration is bigger than Germans.
You think about some of these big projects, like if you've ever heard about like the Suez Canal, the Ohio Erie Canal, some of these different things, they were all dug by immigrants. That's
everything,
immigrant
railroads, the whole nine. Irish immigrants, German immigrants, Asian immigrants.
The railroads, Asian,
everything.
And then they had, and then they tried to And then they passed laws to prevent them from owning land. So that's another.
After stealing from the Indians, the Native Americans, the Native Americans got treated worse than.
Wow.
Listen, Jews got treated bad, but Native Americans got treated worse than everybody.
You know what?
I'm like they're down there extinct right now, so nobody else should be able to complain about anything.
Everybody should just shut the hell up.
No, you can complain. I ain't saying you can't complain, but you better start looking at all these other. They almost wiped out a whole race of people, almost gone.
Oh well,
there's like 2 elephants left and 3 Native Americans left. The whole
all on the endangered species list.
And they're humans. How's a human being gonna be?
And that's not trying to be funny, but you almost have a point.
No, that's the truth. They ain't being funny.
Hey man, anyhow, it is. Oh yeah, we can do that. Let's get to logo over videos and wham, asshole of the week.
It better not be Herschel Walker.
It can't be no Herschel Walker, but it is a gentleman from Ohio. We seem to be just making the map.
Glad he went from Texas.
Check it out.
Ooh.
Okay, so one, I think it should be a state's issue. States should make these decisions. Second, I don't want anybody going to prison for smoking a joint. That's not at all what I want to do. The third thing is we got to be careful here not to be soft on crime, because a lot of times you'll hear somebody thrown in prison for smoking a joint, which like I just said, I don't think that's a good idea. That's not something that we should be doing. But that's just true on paper. And if you look at the underlying charge, you'll see it wasn't just that they smoked a joint. It's that they smoked a joint and then beat an elderly woman over the head with a pistol.
Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you smoke a joint and beat somebody over the head with a pistol, you should go to jail. If you smoke a joint,
that's what joint's gonna do to you. It's gonna make you go walk around with a gun in your hand, looking for somebody to beat on the head.
Yeah, I don't smoke weed, okay, but
that's a good thing. Could you imagine?
Well, I drink though, but hold on, but I've never known anybody to smoke weed and go beat anybody on the side of the head with a pistol. I ain't never known anybody to be violent after smoking weed. Nobody. Weed is like the number one sedative
chillaxer
in the world.
It's the biggest chillaxer ever. I mean, who's got the? Yeah, they might try to.
What can beat weed? Tell me something. What can beat weed? Exactly.
It's a non-debate.
Yeah, you can't even argue. You can't even joke about it.
You're right.
I just hate the fact that I can't smoke it because it makes me paranoid. But other than that, I'm like, weed was here, peace pipe.
Wait, you hear that? What? What?
Yeah, I know, that's how I am. You know me, I mess around. Hey, I mess around smoking weed, get on this show. You see me on the wall just knocking stuff off and dancing.
Behave yourself, man. Hey, let's get into full screen, Larry. Let me pop you in here, brother. And wham, bam. And Larry Cam. LRE Fitness.
LRE Fitness, hey. Larry Estelle of LRE Fitness. We keep you moving. I got a tip for the week. I don't know if I went over this before, but when you are looking for a personal trainer, be specific to what you're looking for. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain muscle, if you're trying to be faster, speed, and agility, make sure you get the trainer that fits you. Just don't go to the gym and get the biggest muscular trainer you see, and make sure you get a trainer that really cares about their job. One thing I despise is just a trainer that's in there just to make the money. Just give me the clients, let me train these people, move them out the way. They don't train for results, they train for checks. So avoid trainers that are not, that don't have you in their best interest, and avoid trainers that are training for checks. And you will know, and I mean check like a paycheck, you'll know if you got a real trainer, because the real trainer is going to ask you, how do you feel after every workout? He's going to give you homework. He or she is going to give you homework. He or she is going to ask you how you feel. He or she is going to try to train you up to a certain point, and then train you to where they don't have to train anymore with you making it your lifestyle. So beware. Get you a good trainer, and make sure you get a trainer that's working for you and getting to where you want to get, not just for them to get them a check. That's my tip. LRE Fitness, we keep you moving.
Wham and bam. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good tip, and that's keeping it 100. You know, and it kind of goes into, I wanted to share a little something that this is, and speaking of motivating and coaching and supporting. And this is from Lou Holtz. This is a Lou Holtz quote. You know Lou Holtz, Notre Dame coach?
Mm-hmm.
He says, your talents determine what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you'll do it.
Kicking that knowledge.
Kicking that knowledge in.
I'm going to have to use that part of my motivational speech when I get some new clients.
Put Lou on the board for you. Man, he's a good, hey, and that's what makes some of these guys successful trainers, coaches. And we've, and that's true. And you're looking for somebody to mentor you into a job. You're looking for somebody to mentor you into physical fitness, or somebody steering you the right way. Is, have somebody that has, a positive energy, just like that, to elevate you and not diminish you. That, I think that's part of the discussion we had today, Larry, is, there's so many people out there bashing for so many different reasons. There's no reason for it. We should be elevating each other up, not putting each other down.
Yes, we should. And we will one day.
One day, my friend.
I have faith in us.
I do too. But hey, I'll tell you what, we are out of time. So until next week, man, on Tim's Tidbits, Larry and I is out of here. Peace, man.